Welcome, TVA agent. What would you like to access in the files today? Warning. Warning. Unauthorized TVA access has been found. Warning. 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 Welcome, Jedi Mike 7. You now have access to the Deadpool and Wolverine TVA files. Please, as always, use them responsibly. We're always watching. Always.
What up, Jedi gang? What's poppin'? Sorry, I do not know why I did that. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on today's channel. And today, guys, we are inching ever so closer to the release of the most anticipated movie of the summer, Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel Studios' only film for the year. It is getting closer and closer. At the point of recording, it is literally a week away. From both that and from Comic-Con. It's going to be a crazy week next week. But yeah, so as this movie is now getting ever so closer to releasing and seeing exactly what it has to offer, there are, of course, a lot of questions and a lot of stuff that probably needs a jogging of the memory. I know not everybody has the time to go back through every single X-Men and Deadpool film that is on there, even though they're all on Disney Plus. I know that not everybody has the wherewithal or the mental capacity or the time to go back through all of those, nor go back through some of the other MCU films that they probably have been skipping over the last couple of years. Do not deny it, you have been skipping a few, and to that I say, catch up, please. But I know not everybody's got the time for that, but that's what this video is for. I'm going to give you guys some facts and thoughts to keep in mind before you go see Deadpool and Wolverine. Just use this as a jogging of the memory. Use this as a, okay, yeah, I should probably think about that, or should probably have that in mind before you go see Deadpool and Wolverine on July 26th or July 25th if you're seeing it early, or if you're at Comic-Con. I'm gonna get there one day, trust me. Anyways, let's talk about it. So, first and arguably one of the most important things to remember when it comes to this movie is X-Men Origins Wolverine. I know. Why? But we gotta remember that this is the first film that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds worked together on. It's where we got to, in the first place, see Wade Wilson and James Howlett's, aka Wolverine, meets for the first time. And even though that movie has did a lot of things wrong for both characters, especially Deadpool, it's still something to remember that this is where the friendship between those two actors started, and where the consents for the fans to want to actually see comic book suit accurate wise, these characters actually duke it out and work together, came from this movie. It's also another thing to note that we probably should remember the movie for a certain other thing, because there are going to be Deadpool variants within this film, and one of them might potentially be the zombie Headpool, and they may pull a thing where Headpool in the movie is actually the severed head of the Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine. Who knows? It could be a thing. It could be how they go about it, and I honestly wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past Ryan Reynolds to make a joke like, "Oh yeah, you, I like you," that kind of thing. Next thing to remember is the last two Deadpool films. I know it's been a while since people have watched them, but just to remember, the first Deadpool film, which came out in I like to say 2016, it was, gave us a better version of the origin of Ryan Reynolds playing Wade Wilson, getting the treatment from Weapon X, not being able to go back to his girlfriend Vanessa, having to become Deadpool to find Ajax, teaming up with Colossus and Megasonic Teenage Warhead to take him down and save his love and win the day. That was the first Deadpool. And then the second Deadpool, we see Vanessa get killed, and Deadpool basically not knowing what to do, kind of joining the X-Men, stopping a young mutant named Russell, and then having to save Russell from the time-traveling son of Cyclops and Jean Grey, Cable, who is trying to kill Russell because Russell becomes a giant villain in the future, but eventually ends up teaming up with Cable as well as new characters like Domino to save Russell from himself and from the future that he could create. It's especially worth remembering that in the ending of Deadpool 2, Wade gets his hands on Cable's time traveling device, and thanks to some X-Men help, is able to repair it, thus shattering his timeline by saving Vanessa, as well as getting rid of a bunch of other stuff within both Mutant Timeline and even some stuff with Ryan Reynolds in DC. And we already know the TVA is not going to be happy about that. Oh, right, that's another thing to remember. Third point, the Time Variance Authority. I know it's been a while since people have watched the Loki series, and I know there's a lot of people that didn't even watch season 2, but trust me, season 2 is really worth it. So just to remember, the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, were created to basically govern the timeline, the multiverse. They were thought to have been created by the Timekeepers, who created one sacred timeline to stop the multiversal war, but in actuality, they were created by He Who Remains, a variant of Kang the Conqueror, who we met in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, what the TVA would usually do is that they would go to a variant timeline, stop the variants, capture them, and then erase that timeline, so it's only one sacred timeline. But of course, at the end of Loki season 2, Loki sacrificed himself to destroy the sacred timeline and rebuilt it as a sort of Yggdrasil tree thriving multiverse, depending on how long that lasts. Again, going with this movie and with Secret Wars, I guess we'll see how that all goes. But just remember that the TVA has changed since the end of Loki season 2. They are now protecting the sacred timeline. However, it does seem like the TVA is a bit different again in Deadpool and Wolverine. Some have figured that maybe it's a splinter group that want to still prune the sacred timeline, or maybe something else has happened in between the points. We'll find out in about a week or a couple days, whenever you're seeing this video. Another thing to note and to remember is the state of the MCU at this time and the fact that this is the only MCU centric film coming out this year. Remember, everybody's been complaining about the fact that there's been too many MCU films all at once. And while that really was just 2021 to, get the 2020 films that couldn't come out to come out, I do understand where a lot of people are coming from when it comes to that consensus. And that's why this year, Deadpool and Wolverine is the only MCU film that's coming out, with the other films, that being Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, coming out next year. But yeah, if you're like, oh, it's too many Marvel films, Deadpool and Wolverine is the only one coming out. Though, given the fact that it's the only one that's coming out and it's coming out now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have noticed that there hasn't been an MCU film at all, and they're like, damn, what do we do? Also, another thing to think about is the fact that there are going to be a lot of cameos from both the MCU side of things and from the Fox X-Men side of things within this film. Of course, we already know that most of the Deadpool cast is going to return for this film. And of course, as I said, the TVA is going to be here. No sign of Loki or Mobius. Who knows if they would at all show up in this film. We, of course, know that other characters such as Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, Elektra, they're going to be in this film. And there's also going to be a certain lady that's going to be in this film as well. I've been avoiding the internet for a while when it comes to that, so don't even try me with that whole. Don't even try me. But yeah, just note there's going to be a lot of cameos in this. Don't know how many, don't know who signed up to show up in this film, but just expect that there's going to be some surprises. Don't expect it to be super crazy, because this is still a film focused on Deadpool and Wolverine, but, just know that there's going to be some surprises. Another thing to note, the state of Wolverine. Now remember, this is Hugh Jackman returning to the character after thinking he was done with the character. He ended his run with Logan in the film Logan, where it was an adaptation of the Old Man Logan comic, where he was old and it was his time, and combining that with X-23, and he died in that film. Now, director Sean Levy said that this is not touching Logan at all. Most likely this takes place before Logan. If this is the same Logan from that movie, this takes place before Logan. So if you're curious if that's at all going to be affected, most likely not. This is going to be Hugh Jackman returning for this film, maybe also for Secret Wars, we'll see. But just to note that this is going to be his return, and it is going to be a much welcome return. And last thing that I'll probably bring up is the villain of the film, Cassandra Nova, which is a character that a lot of people do not really know about. but maybe started hearing a little bit about over the last couple months. Just to quickly go over, she is basically Charles Xavier's mood dry. In a sense, his evil twin that was created psychically in the womb of his mother and is basically a complete psychopath, leading to the destruction of Genosha, which we also recently got in X-Men 97. However, that was done by a different character within X-Men 97. Also, go watch X-Men 97. That was a really, really good show. Can't wait for season 2. But yeah, that's all that I would say is probably important to remember when it comes to Deadpool and Wolverine in terms of character, setting, and what to expect. Again, this is the only MCU film coming out this year. Any other stuff is Disney Plus shows, and there's really not a lot of them in the Marvel side that's coming out this year. Again, Marvel will be making more stuff next year, but they're giving this year to be a breathing room with the biggest summer blockbuster being the centerpiece. And I honestly cannot wait. Again, tell me, are you guys excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? Are you going to see it as soon as possible? Because trust me, I'm going to see this film as soon as possible. And trust me, I'm not getting spoiled. I'm going on a media blackout after the red carpet. But yeah, cannot wait for Deadpool and Wolverine. And of course, me and Mike will talk about it as soon as possible. It's going to be a lot of coverage over these next couple of weeks, not just with Deadpool and Wolverine, but also with Comic Con. Because again, Comic Con being the same week as Deadpool and Wolverine is crazy, but just all the news that's going to drop is going to be even crazier. So, yeah, just look out for that. But again, guys, just pray for us this upcoming week because this is going to be insane. But yeah, guys, that's going to conclude for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned a little something new in this video, or you reevaluated and got back memories about what you should know before Deadpool and Wolverine. But yeah, let's just hope that this is a good film. I'm all set. I'm all ready to go. But yeah, see you guys then. Let's go. Peace.